Hi everybody! If you're asking yourself, what is this? Where's Romania? It's because this is the final video that I'm gonna make about this subject. Since the last video, the economy of the country just imploded. The Austrian market went completely crazy. I built buildings the wrong way, and then I just couldn't keep up with my economy. Everything was ruined. So I took the lessons that I've learned from the playthrough and I tried again. This time I chose not to form Romania because Wallachia forever. And as you can see, we've colored the land quite a bit. And also, if you take a look at the country browser, our infamy is bad, but not that bad. 61 infamy. That's not too bad. And look at us. We got the Ottomans, we got Egypt, Tripolitania, Morocco, and a whole bunch of Africa. The communist states of America conquered, cut me off from South Africa. The East India Trade Company is free, but look at this. I can make them a puppet for 1 million aggressive expansion. But as it stands, we're doing quite well. Our economy is healthy. We are in, we're paying a bit for construction just because we have 407 construction points. And that's understandable, but it is pretty healthy. I can always tone it down. I've built most of the things that I wanted to build. And maybe I'm going to try to summarize in the form of a rant. What have I learned from my initial play? Is one of the things that I have learned is that when you choose to declare a war, what is it? If we come here, a diplomatic place, I would say the first order of business would be to bully unrecognized countries. So for example, if I want to make Persia a puppet, because they're an unrecognized power, I get an enormous discount for infamy. So at least at the beginning, feel free to conquer, but try to focus on unrecognized powers, because that will really help you stay, less infamous than if you just go around and conquer things like Rome, for example. And so the other great powers of the world will be, let's say, they would be more helpful, more reluctant to join place against you, and will generally be more supportive. Even after, the Ottomans, conquering the Ottomans in the last war and puppeting them gave me about 91 infamy, but I was floating somewhere around 6-7, didn't get to 100. And so people like France, for example, are still cooperative, and they're not entirely out to get me, which is good. And one of the things that I've changed this time is whenever I declared war on the Ottomans, for example, to take Dobroja, and the initial ones, taking war reparations was crucial to allowing my economy to kickstart on somebody else's money, because from only 2 states of Dobroja and Wallachia, there was not really much I could do. But with the enormous amount of money that the Ottomans were making, and the fact that they were paying 10% of their income to us, we could really build up the 2 states and eventually win, in a sense. That was one thing. There are some secondary war objectives that are quite valuable, and picking up war reparations is cheap and effective. Another lessons learned was to try and keep my buildings a bit spread out, so not build everything in one state. You know, don't build steel mills and the power plants in the same state. If we're gonna have, if you're going to compete for employees, you'd rather have them in different states. So in a sense, I specialized Wallachia on like administrative, government administration, arts universities, things like that. But then I let my energy sources in Moldova, and I think over here in northern Thrace. Another thing was to conquer as much land as possible that's connected. So I've heard that in the comments, and that's it is a good idea. That is connected by land. It's easier to defend, but then also you don't need to keep ports around to supply them and to get the resources from those areas back to your home countries. That was pretty useful. So I slowly advanced in the Balkans until I took Constantinople / Istanbul, and there we go, Eastern Thrace. I mean, sure. The other thing is, at the beginning, at least, the unrecognized powers are quite isolated. So just get, I got Morocco first, and that was a good starting point. I still didn't annex them. I don't know if it's really worth annexing them, because I could get my other resources like sulfur, for example, from colonization. Colonization again is very important, because the AI, will sit on some random set of resources, like look at Tunis, right? Okay, they built a couple of sulfur mines from their 50 total potential, but no lead, right? And colonization really does give you access to things like that. And then, you can always bully the unrecognized countries. It's an unfortunate effect of realpolitik, but it is what it is. The other thing is, if Austria, who got rebellion after rebellion, countries that are relatively struggling with internal revolts, then they will be more than happy to just give you one state at a time. This is how I got northern and southern Transylvania. Whenever Austria got a rebellion, I would just start a play, for one of these states, and they would just give them up. I really wouldn't need a lot of support from the other big powers, and so I got the lead mines from southern Transylvania and some more coal mines from northern Transylvania, so I didn't have to stress my Wallachian population, so I can focus more on oil rigs. Even though Wallachia as a state is pretty amazing with how much coal and oil can be extracted from it, we still suffer from a limited population. Now we're around 3 million. One of the things that I have heard, and maybe relevant, question mark, I'm pretty sure they are. I'm pretty sure it's a relevant criticism. I don't entirely understand some aspects though. Like, for example, okay, if I want to build a building, sometimes they say, well, you have this many peasants, right? So in principle, peasants can come and work they can evolve from their state of just working the land to, coming to educating themselves and coming to learn to come and work as laborers in manufactories and things like that. And who knows, even better jobs, I guess, potentially. But how can I effectively see this? I have no clue. So what I did was I tried to keep building buildings in places that had free peasants. What I cannot see though in this screen right here, we can see the peasants, but then there is also an issue of there is also a problem with, or one of the things that can come up is unemployment, right? So here in Dobroja we have 0 peasants, but we have 2,000 unemployed people. Here we have 10,000 unemployed people, and that's not even, it's not immediately visible in that screen. And I would rather give these people some place to work at that, rather than have them migrate randomly throughout my country, and so keeping them happy. Now I'm building a whole bunch of stuff. Should be fine, but this unemployment thing, especially on a macro level, say how many people are unemployed here, I don't know. I have to come click and see like, oh, 1,000 people are unemployed, right? And I'd rather give them a place to work. So yeah, another I would say very important, especially as a small country, especially as Wallachia. Yeah, in my campaign, I wanted help. I was small and I need the help of a big country, and I'm surrounded by so many big countries. So I joined the Austrian market immediately. That gave me some relations with them and so on. But then I ended up having to fuel, and I remember especially the fact that I could never satisfy the market's need for boats. This because Austria had so many naval bases that I could simply, and I had to build more ships so that I could supply my own naval bases, but I was actually supplying them. And that's just one of the things that I had to supply the Austrian market, which was so much bigger. So in this playthrough, I just went for just keeping my own market. And then, okay, we start small. I need wood, I build some wood. I need tools, I build some tools. I don't get whatever things that the Austrian market builds, but then I also don't have to fuel their, randomly and sometimes badly managed economy. Then they would have some sort of rebellion, devastation, and things like that. So things would keep jumping around, and at some point it was so bad. The moment when I left, if I would try to leave the Austrian market, my own economy was completely not fitted to deal with the disconnection, right? Then I would have too many of some resources, none of other resources, and I would not have enough bureaucracy to import everything, and it would just ended up being a disaster. So just kept to my own, and it's pretty good. And then even from a budget standpoint, I managed, for example, in this campaign, I'm already in 1898, and I've kept my taxation level at a medium for a long time. All my wages are again medium. I'm paying 300,000 on construction goods, but it's my money to spend, and I'm doing it intentionally. And then the consumption taxes are pretty low. And I am using the investment pool, but the investment pool, I'm stressing it to the maximum, right? I can always pull back. Sorry about that. That I can always pull back on construction whenever I want to. Right now, I am pumping, I have more steel mills, and I've just, let's say, discovered telephones. So I'm propping up the electrics industries, and I realized I had no food industries in my land, so I'm gonna supply my people with groceries. One thing that I didn't learn was how to understand the needs of my population, but apparently in the next major patch this will be much clearer, right? Like these people have a standard of living below the minimum expected, and how can I help them? I don't know. They pay stuff on budget _ dividend _ taxes 0%. Okay, so I can see here what they pay for. So they pay a lot for furniture, opium, luxury clothes. Stop taking drugs, guys. Drugs are bad, okay? Luxury furniture. So lower strata actually pays for luxury furniture a little bit. Why? Yeah, so this is pretty clunky. This is the first time I've actually seen this because it's so clunky. So here you can probably, yeah, this is something to learn for the future. Another thing is like having an excess of resources. This is not immediately obvious, but having an excess of these influence and authority and bureaucracy is actually a bonus. Like having an excess of bureaucracy will give me some state construction efficiency. But what I really try to keep is a maximum influence excess, because that decays the infamy. So it lets me conquer and prop up my economy on the expense of others more easily, right? Because after I conquer, then I have to set up my economy, and sometimes I research a new technology, so it gives me some time to build, let's say, to the next technology level, or adjust things a little bit in my market, and in that time the infamy drops very fast. And so right now, again, sure, I have some expensive government goods, but I'm fixing them very easily, and then it's enough to import into my market. My little guys, they don't really build a lot as far as I see, so it's really the buildings that I build in my lands, and I depend on them, which is kind of great. So yeah, and then from the laws, from the laws, I think I kind of understood how the laws work and how to balance them. The only thing is, I get a lot of radicals. Most of my radicals seem, not most, standard of living, they're being, I change the production method, they're being fired and then rehired, and then again I kind of have to look at the so I see you get more radicals in these red states, right? And I'm trying to build up the Transylvania and Moldova. They've been conquered. Can I improve their life? I'm trying by just building things and getting rid of taxes, especially consumption taxes for things, but the discrimination is not so bad. But I have almost 500,000 people who are radicalized by unfulfilled political movements, and I would like to avoid that. And I get these movements that pop up from time to time, support and radicalization, but it's nothing I can do, it feels like. Right, like, okay, I can start suppressing the rural folk, let's say. Okay, that's very slow, costs a lot of authority. I'm doing my best to kind of keep them out of this, but yeah. But those are really it. So when declaring wars, make sure to at least, especially if you don't want to conquer random land for no reason, just put in the extra expenses. You can sometimes do humiliation on big powers so that you never see them again so you don't see them again for 5 years, because they won't be able to join your wars. Never use that one, to be honest. So I'd rather finish the work quickly, demobilize my generals, and do what I have to do. I avoided using conscription. Like from a military law perspective, I have mass conscription for quite some time. Never used any conscripts. So okay, I do prefer to keep barracks, to keep a standing army, gives people jobs, and then makes my economy a bit more, what's the word, as homogeneous is not the word, but I don't get big spikes. I don't have people randomly dying in wars and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm almost at the point where I would be comfortable. So let's say in principle now, after conquering all of this northern Africa, I still have Tunis and Algeria. They can stay there for now, because if I attack here or here, I do start seeing some Tunis is in a defensive pact with Italy. I don't really want to deal with Italy, but I could go into some other parts of the world. But I do want to puppet East India Company, and when that's gonna happen, that's gonna be a big deal, because it cost me 200 infamy for that. The East India Company is huge, but they're not a great power, so they can be puppeted. Another, I don't know if it will call it lessons learned, but another thing that I've seen, and it's a bit annoying, is that, for example, when I conquered Egypt, Germany did not own this port here in the Suez Isthmus. in Mount Sinai province state. They just didn't. This happened. They made a play against Egypt that I simply did not notice, and I guess I didn't join Egypt, who is my puppet. This is my theory, because I missed it completely. I was controlling the whole Egypt, and then suddenly, boop, German Sinai. So I guess they made a play against my puppet. I just didn't see it because it was somewhere on this side of the screen, and you know, sometimes you get all sorts of random stuff that I couldn't be bothered with, and they just took it. And this kind of annoys me because Germany is huge. I have to declare a whole war. I have good relations with them, so I need to, I don't know, expel their diplomats. That gives me random infamy and so on and so forth. It's not the end of the world. It's not, you know, there's not something terribly valuable here, but it's just some 2 subsistence orchards. It's completely useless, but it was mine, right? How come the game didn't, you know, signal that, hey, somebody is really attacking your puppet? This is important, right? I don't care if France fights whatever, Ubangi Shari. But I care if one of my if Ubangi Shari is my puppet and is being attacked by France. I care about that. Let me know. Hey, big deal is happening, right? Also, you know, my king died, and I got this the heir. I got the heir in power, and that's another thing that's completely unannounced, right? The king does have a certain set of bonuses. The prince has a different set of bonuses, which amount to nothing. And I just don't know, you know. Sometimes see, okay, some numbers changed, and it's probably because of that. Or the actual moment when I realized was when the new king got an heir. So that was the moment I said, oh, okay. I guess there's a new king. If there's a new heir, there's a new king. I don't know heirs. I don't know that heirs are able to die in this game. Yeah. Other than that, I still, you know, can't tell if people from the... So the latest employee changes, engineers became engineers in iron mines. Laborers went to labor in urban centers. So people left the motor industries to go to the iron mines. Okay. Logging camps. Farmers on cotton plantation Wallachia with 7 qualifying machinists aren't willing to work for that wage. So there are some things like that I really don't know how to handle. I don't know what should I do to, in this case, should I like cancel, build more universities? What should I do? It's not entirely clear to me. I just try to say, okay, I'm going to avoid building in places that have 0 peasants, but then I do want to employ people who are unemployed, so I'm also kind of looking after that, while also trying to focus. You know, I want to also take advantage of that bonus where you stack buildings on top of each other, and then you get some extra throughput for stacking them. Right, I get 9% throughput total, capped at 50%. So I'm trying to stack as many buildings at the same type in one province, and when I get rid of, I don't have enough peasants there, I start building another stack in a different province and so on. But yeah, see, my coal mines throughput is 29%. Oh, good job. I'm using a lot of infrastructure and a lot of explosives, so I need to build more explosive. More chemical plants, I suppose. We are building chemical plants eventually. More furniture, stuff like that. Yeah. So this is it. You know, the army-wise, the best way to use the army is to just not have them fight. Sometimes you just build enough, barracks and boat places, boat libraries. Should be enough to dissuade anybody, any enemy from putting up a fight. especially if you have some big powerful friends. So yeah, I'm not sure. I would like to take over Persia and the Sikh Empire and East India Company so that I can connect my lands, and then I'd like to go and snipe all of the wonders, maybe minus the Kremlin. I don't care about the Kremlin. Saint Basil's Cathedral, just give me some prestige. Meh. But I will try to get stuff like the Forbidden City, which gives me some authority. Did these guys get anything from Vatican City? Just prestige, so irrelevant. We have the two in America. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with who can build the. There is one wonder here in Northern Africa, but I don't know who can build it. It gives a lot of. Who can build that? That's the University of Sankor or something like that. Anyway, I have no idea. Right now I'm digging the isthmus for the Suez Canal, so that's a fun project. And then yeah, taking it slowly, relatively slowly. I did expand quite a bit, but kind of just trying to make my empire contiguous, or as contiguous as it can be. And after that, I'm going to have to see what the effects of conquest, not conquest, but puppeting under full maximum infamy looks like. Because there's one of the things that I still don't understand. One of the things that I don't understand is these radicals from conquest. Do people become radical in my lands because I conquest things? Or if I conquer provinces, does that make the people in the conquered provinces radicalized? That I can understand. Like every land that I take is just 100% radicals, which is bad, obviously. But then if I puppet and annex them, will the annexed people be radicals? Who knows? I don't. I have no clue. And yeah, overall, with all the hiccups and with all the bizarre systems that connect to each other in interesting ways, and sometimes in infuriating ways. I like this. It does need some time to really find its place. I think Victoria 3 needs some time to settle down and really fix some of the things that you have to fix. Things like the war system, which is very clunky. Even the diplomatic play system, I think, will need a lot of attention. It's very cool, and I think I can see this sort of you're not sure who's joining, who's not. We play the world stage. It's a very cool idea, because it's very you plan for a war, and sometimes it's very satisfying just to get your province that you were looking for. Sometimes it's annoying because you wanted to take a larger region, so you just get one province, you have to wait for 5 years and then do it again. But it is satisfying to not need to kill people to enforce your demands. So I think that's pretty cool. Overall, I think these are my opinions. If anyone cares, but if you get anything from this and you say, oh, maybe I've learned something new, I'm not here to teach, I'm here to learn together with you. So if you have any sort of tips and tricks, of course you are welcome to share. But I believe that for the moment my Victoria 3 journey on YouTube is gonna take a break. And in my free time I will keep playing this, and I don't really have an incentive to play anything else rather than Wallachia. Somebody asked, like, why Wallachia? It's one I've been obsessing over it in EU4 and here as well, and it's really starting from zero. It's the best. It's maybe the worst recognized country on the map But its advantage is that it's very simple, that it has only one state to deal with at the beginning, and it really feels like a trip from zero to hero, and it can take so many different routes, right? Like this time I really didn't touch the United States, and I really went full Northern Africa, and then now I'm gonna enter India. I've taken Balochistan because I consider myself a bit of a horticulturalist. So I maxed out opium plantations. It pisses me off every time every game I play. I lack opium. So this one is still expensive in the Wallachian market, but I have it. It's mine. I control most of it. I think I control most opium in the world. Can I see that somewhere? Opium. Am I number one? Goods production, people level. Where can I see opium? Number 3 producer worldwide. Who produces more opium than me? Hey, hello. How dare you? What the hell? Anyway, fun stuff, and it's more who produces. Well, I'll take over Persia and Afghanistan. Nobody will produce more opium than me. It's gonna be over. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the night, and I will see you in the next Anbennar video, I suppose, which I plan to release after I'm done working, after I'm done playing, editing, and yeah, and that's it. I have a couple of countries on my list. I'm not exactly which one will be first, but it's gonna happen at least next weekend. It's gonna take a little while, but it's coming. Don't worry. And I haven't thanked my Patreons in a while, but I would like to thank everyone. And yeah, I'll call you out in the next Anbennar video. Taco flavored kisses, everybody, and see you around. Bye bye.